President Biden surprised the world today when he stood by his comments that he made in Warsaw that Vladimir Putin, quote, cannot stay in power. It was expected that he was going to clean up those unscripted words. Instead, he clarified that in his personal opinion and not a new policy. The concern tonight is that those remarks could escalate the war in Ukraine, and Putin may use it as a propaganda that the West is trying to overthrow him. Well, there's news to report from inside Ukraine after a month of indiscriminate bombing that has flattened much of Mariupol. The city's mayor reportedly says Russian forces have captured the critical port town. But Ukraine has maintained its counterattacks and claims to have retaken a Kyiv suburb and an eastern town from the Russians. So as you can tell, we've got a lot of news to get to tonight, starting with CBS's Ed O'Keefe at the White House. Good evening, Ed.
Good evening, Norah. The president's comments about Vladimir Putin came at the end of a carefully prepared speech and 3 days of intense diplomacy. Today, he said the message was intended for the Russian people. 2 days since saying this about Vladimir Putin,
for God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
President Biden today clarified he was expressing personal views, not a change in U.S. policy.
I wasn't then, nor am I now, articulating a policy change. I was expressing the moral outrage that I feel, and I make no apologies for it.
Still, the president faced a barrage of questions today about his comments, like, why'd he say it?
This is just stating a simple fact that this kind of behavior is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable.
Are you concerned this remark might escalate the conflict?
No, I'm not. I'm not at all. The last thing I want to do is engage in a land war or a nuclear war with Russia. That's not part of it. I was expressing my outrage at the behavior of this man. It's outrageous.
The president's European trip included high-stakes talks with allies and face-to-face meetings with Ukrainian refugees now in Poland. After meeting some of them Saturday, the president also said this about Putin.
He's a butcher.
Taken together, the president's comments signal at least a rhetorical escalation that critics fear could intensify the conflict. Putin's top spokesman called Mr. Biden's comments alarming and said the Russian people will pick their leader. And French President Emmanuel Macron, who's in closer touch with Putin than most world leaders, said he wouldn't have used those terms because he hopes the war can be resolved without escalation.
D'abord être factuel et ensuite, en effet,
but the president disagrees with Macron.
Other governments have suggested that this is a problem, I'm escalating things. No. And has it weakened NATO? No, it hadn't.
White House aides say the president's remark about removing Putin wasn't part of the prepared text. And is he worried Putin will see the comments as an escalation?
I don't care what he thinks. Look, here's the deal. He's going to do what he's going to do.
So as the war in Ukraine continues, the Pentagon announced today it's sending so-called Growler aircraft that can jam or confuse enemy radar to Germany. The planes won't be flying over Ukraine, but are part of NATO's deterrence against Russia. Norah?
Just extraordinary to be there at the White House today. Ed O'Keefe, thank you.